All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome. I am Robert with Zenfolio Customer Success, and I want to say thanks for joining us on the live stream today. Hey, if this is your first time hanging out with us, make sure you say hi to us in the chat. Let us know where you're from. I'm still trying to figure out this whole Zoom live interface, so forgive me for it being just a little bit weird. Hey, today we've got a really cool segment for you guys. We're going to be talking about contactless workflow, and we have the Director of Business Development here at Zenfolio, Kurt Hilmerson, joining us live. We're going to be talking about things to help you take your workflow contactless. With everything going on, it's super, super good to know how to do this stuff. Make sure you say hi to us in the chat. Let us know where you're from. We're going to be talking today about online booking, online paperless pre-order, online proofing, online ordering, and contactless image delivery. Now, hanging out with me in chat, helping me take care of you guys, I've got Richard, so make sure that you show him some love. He does a wonderful job jumping on here, helping me take care of you guys, answer questions. And speaking of questions, if you have questions as we go through this, make sure that you get those in the chat so we can get those answered for you live today. Just really quick, some announcements. Next week is the 200th episode of Zenfolio Live. Super excited about this one with special guest, adventure photographer extraordinaire, Laura Greer, and she's going to be talking about how to use your social media to grow your business. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do some crazy stuff. There's going to be a really sweet giveaway, one that you don't want to miss, and I'm going to be doing some crazy stuff as well. So if you only get to make one Zenfolio Live in the month of August, the 200th episode is the one that you want to make sure to be a part of, because we're going to have a lot of fun. Also, there is a live events calendar that's now available to you guys. So I know a lot of you have been asking, how can we get notified, or can we subscribe to when you guys do live trainings, live streams, and all of that stuff? There is a live events calendar. It's actually linked below in the video description. You can go check that out. You can subscribe to the whole calendar and get updates every time we have live trainings and live videos going on, or you can actually go and add specific ones to your calendar. So really, really cool tool. Make sure that you go check it out. That way you can also see all of the live stuff that we have coming. One last thing. We are continuing to challenge you guys to post something positive on your social media. So do something to make somebody smile, share one of your beautiful images out. While you do that, go ahead and use that hashtag Zenfolio Photographers for a chance for that image to be featured on one of our social media platforms. Okay, let me get my screen share turned off here. All of my tools and buttons are no longer working, so that's awesome. Let's see if this works. There we go. Okay. Well, if you've ever been to one of our trade shows, or a trade show where Zenfolio had a booth, you have probably shaken hands with him. He's a photographer, a husband, a father, and in his spare time, he likes to build lightsabers from scratch. So please help me in welcoming Zenfolio's very own Director of Business Development, Mr. Kurt Hilmerson, to the live stream. Hey, Kurt, how are you doing today?
Oh, great. Thank you for that intro. Wow, that's all I can say. But I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Super excited to have you. So I know you have a big photography background. I'm sure we have some people who are probably interested in knowing about lightsabers that you build as well. But can you give us the short and sweet of what got you into photography, kind of your story?
Yeah, so I was actually living in London, took a bunch of pictures on black and white film, came back, and it turned out really well, put some stuff on my wall, and then I started having friends and family ask me to photograph their wedding. And so I got into wedding photography, had a wedding studio for quite a long time, and then started working in the photography space on the software side. This is actually my third software company. I've been with Zenfolio for over 4 years, and I mean, I'm a nerd, clearly, because I love building lightsabers in my spare time. So being able to be on the tech side of the photography space, which I love, is kind of the best job in the world.
Absolutely. So when you're doing photography for fun, what are you taking photos of?
Right now, it's my kids mostly. My kids are in soccer, so a lot of action sports, soccer stuff. And then, when I get to travel a little bit, it's a lot of architecture. I love shadow and light and shape and stuff like that. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Any favorite photos or favorite photography moments you want to share? I know I put you on the spot. That's a question that just popped up in my head.
Favorite
I thought it was a great one.
photos. Yeah. Man, I wish I could dig this up. I have this shot of my older son scoring. It was his first season. It was at the end of the season, and he finally got his first goal. And it was an action sequence. So seeing him get the ball, score, and then his face, his reaction after it is probably my most favorite image I've ever taken. And then besides that, I think just, living in London, just some of the cool architecture there, really inspired me.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's a great photo. And you have that one printed out, I'm assuming, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Very
Totally.
cool. Very cool. So I know that contactless workflow is a huge topic right now. And I think it's something that both you and I are passionate about, especially since we have a lot to do with the volume photography world, the sports, youth sports, and all of that stuff. So I know today we're not going to be really diving into the technical side of things. I think today what we really want to talk about is helping photographers who have never looked at how can they take their business fully online or really make their workflow contactless. Zenfolio has so many tools to help them do that. And I think today what we're going to be doing is maybe talking about these tools, kind of bringing those pieces together. And I know that you work with a lot of volume studios and you kind of help them go back and talk to the schools about how they can offer these kind of services.
Yeah, I think it's a really unique time. The entire time I've been at Zenfolio, we've really started to understand the volume, the school, and the sports space. And we noticed that there are a lot of workflows that are very paper, very manual. And so over the last couple of years, we've been creating features at Zenfolio to move those to be online, to make the workflow a little bit better. And then now we find ourselves in a unique time where it's really important to be contactless. And so our desire is, with this time, is to help photographers do two things. One, we want to help you communicate to schools or sports leagues and make them feel comfortable to continue to have fall shoots. We think it's important for you as photographers to have that business, but we also think it's important for the kids and for the parents to continue those memories. And I have a whole slew of images from when my kids were super little until now of them growing, and to miss a year, I think would be devastating for me, and I'm sure it would be for a lot of parents. So in this conversation, a lot of this is, what are some ways that we can help you prepare to communicate with the admins for schools, for youth sports leagues, and then for you to prepare to be able to have a contactless workflow that just make sure everybody is safe in this process, but also I think you'll find that in the end, you'll have a much easier workflow that is now digital, and parents will love you for it as well.
Yeah, I think so. There was a huge push in volume photography to start doing everything online. Like, we've done the paper stuff for a long time, and that method works, but it's so streamlined when you can take it online. And so I think now is kind of really the point to where people were doing all of the paper stuff. It's time to enable to keep doing what you're doing. It's really time to get there. And so what do you think? So starting out, what is some of the most important pieces that photographers need to start with in order to really go back to the schools and go back to these sports leagues and say, hey, I know that we came in, we did this last year. We did the paper forms, the paper proofs, and all of that stuff. And I know, even if we're still allowed to do those kinds of things, I know there's probably parents that have concerns. and
Absolutely.
I want to make sure that I'm considerate of that. So what are the kind of the building blocks or the first starting
Yeah.
pieces for that?
The biggest thing is to look through your workflow right now and think about all the places where something changes hands physically. And if there are places where you have that, uh, one of them definitely is going to be your pre-order forms. If you're doing pre-order prepay, that's a big one, of having that piece of paper change multiple hands. And then the other one is, I guess there's a couple. The second one is, when you're actually photographing on the day, what does that workflow look like? How close are the kids? What's the spacing? How are you handling group photos? Really think about those. And then lastly is the delivery of images. How does that happening? Is it getting shipped from somewhere, so it's going out individually, or is it in bulk being delivered somewhere? And so the more places where you can reduce contact with either objects or with the students and the athletes, the better off you are. And so I think, in this time, you and I will walk through a workflow that you can do through Zenfolio that will kind of change those processes to be more contactless. And then once you kind of understand that workflow and you've transitioned all those high touch into paperless or spacing, then what you can do is go back to the school admin, go back to the sports league admin and say, this is my plan. This is how I will run the photo day. This is how I plan to protect the staff and the students and the athletes, as well as myself and my team. And then, you're going to make them feel a lot more comfortable about going forward with that day. And from there, it's just communicating either through them or yourself with the parents to let them know, everybody's going to be safe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, why don't I go ahead and share my screen? And guys, again, like I said, we're not going to be really deep diving into the backside of this. Like all of these features, if you have been hanging out with me on Zenfolio Live for a while, you should probably know and be super familiar with most of these features. But if you're not, I've put together a contactless workflow playlist. It's actually in the description below the video. So you can grab that link now, or you can come back and grab it later on. It's going to be there. But that playlist has videos that deep dive into every single one of these features that we're going to be talking about, and really shows you how to set it up, how to use it, not just the front end, but the back end as well. But let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll just kind of go through what this looks like.
Yeah, and while you're going through this, I'll add this. A lot of this conversation and these features were built mostly with school photo day and youth sports in mind, action sports as well. But this can be adopted to pretty much anything you're photographing. So if what you're photographing is not that specifically, we can help you kind of think outside the box a little bit and adopt some of these features for your particular type of photography.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All of these features, like you said, are super universal. And just taking this workflow online is just going to do amazing things. We want to start with pre-order, you think? Is that where we want to go first?
Yeah, I think pre-order is a great way. So when you, if typically prior to this fall season, if you have done pre-order or prepay, meaning you have a paper form that is sent to the parents and they pick out the packages they're going to do ahead of time, pay for them, and then you match it up and deliver after you photographed the students or the athletes, then this is for you. So we, a few years ago, adopted or created this feature to make this transition to be online. And the great thing about this is you have a dedicated URL for that particular school or sports league. You can create your packages. You can create your add-on as well. The way we built this is you have to choose a package before you can choose an add-on. That way people don't circumvent the packages, because we know those are super important. And we built this mobile first as well. So this is something that can be done even on the day of the shoot, the parents can be there, can be on their mobile phone, and can pay with a credit card. I know that I have definitely forgotten my checkbook on photo day. So, this is a great way for those parents that definitely don't have their stuff together when they're bringing their kids, corralling them.
I love that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I love that because being on the ground, doing so much sports photography in the past, you always have those few parents who show up after you've packed everything up, including all the extra order forms, who then want to place an order of the kid that you photographed 2 hours ago that you then have to go dig up all the information for. And so being able to use this and just be like, sure, you can still order, not a problem at all. Give them the link, maybe even, and I know I've showed you guys how to do this before, maybe even take that pre-order link and connect it to a QR code and just have it on your phone where you can show it to somebody, or maybe a little printout to where they can just scan that QR code and go to the pre-order link. Instead of having to dig through all of your gear and your bag and go find your shoot log and all the extra order forms and then wait on the parent to sit there and fill that out. I love you parents, but after a long day of being out in the hot, hot sun photographing lots of kids, we are ready to go home. And that is super, super helpful.
Yeah, and the other piece is, the nice thing about digital is you don't ever have to guess at what the person has written on the piece of form. Yeah, so you can see in here, it shows the packages, it shows the add-ons. Robert added them. He'll click checkout. And then one of the big pieces that this is you can see the customer information. These are all custom fields that you create. So you can have the order you want, but obviously what's big with school and sports is you got to have that data, got to have the information so you know who the student is, who they're connected with as far as the sports team or the coach or the teacher, any IDs that are important, all that vital information that you need. And then when this is all said and done, the parent will be able to fill all this out. These are required fields. You can see kind of what's in the shopping cart, and then they'll check out with all their info. And then when this order is done, you can grab that whole chunk of orders from that pre-order form, and now you have all that data in one super easy place. It makes it really nice. And then the other thing that we just recently did is if you don't want to have to do all the work of, okay, now I have all this information, I photographed all the kids, now I need to pair this up, I need to decide, do I want this pose or this pose? We've actually connected pre-order with our e-commerce checkout. So that means that when a parent or when you have photographed, you've uploaded everything into the gallery, they can just check out. And so it's already connected with the pre-order. It already shows all the package and add-on information. So they're just grabbing the photo and saying, I want this photo to be paired with this package. I want this photo to be paired with this add-on. Checkout. And then now you're giving the parents the freedom to be able to match up images with the package. So it's a much easier workflow on you, and you're giving parents a lot more choice, which is amazing. And then again, just like normal e-commerce with Zenfolio, if you've attached it to one of our lab partners, that order goes directly to the lab and gets shipped directly to the parents. Super easy.
Absolutely. And so a couple of things that you mentioned there that really speak to me that I love about this feature. Again, as somebody coming from having done this for so long, manually having to write everybody's name down, every frame number down, paper order forms, the ability to take an entire pre-order and export it into a single CSV file is mind-blowing for me, especially somebody who loves spreadsheets already. If you don't love spreadsheets, it's still pretty easy to cope. It's much easier than having to deal with a stack of really sloppily written parent filled out order forms. So that's a huge benefit, is having that option to export all of that stuff. The other thing that's beautiful about this, and it's a concern that I used to run into a long time when parents would come up, hand in their order form, about at least every shoot, they'd be like, my credit card number's on that. Are you guys gonna keep an eye on this, or they were always concerned about leaving all that information right there and then somebody really being able to just walk up and grab it right off the table. I don't think I ever had that happen, and I hope that that never happens, but this whole solution takes all of that out of the equation as well. There's not all that money that you have to keep track of on your table in the middle of the day during a shoot when you're surrounded by kids. So this takes a lot of those other concerns out of the equation as well.
Yep. So obviously that's a great workflow. If you do, let's say with Miller's, for example, if you use their school and sports software, you can always export the CSV, upload it into their software, and you're ready to go. Otherwise, you have all the information in Zenfolio. You just need to match the images with the data when you upload back into Zenfolio. And if you have any questions, our amazing support team can walk you through that process. But the great thing about that is you have all those kids in one single gallery, and there's a keyword that's attached to it. So, student ID or email address, there's all kinds of things you can do. But what it means is, even though you have all these kids in a single gallery, each one is secure by a passcode. And so the parent has to know the passcode to get in there, and they'll only see their individual child. They won't see anybody else.
As long as they enter it correctly.
As long as they enter it correctly. Exactly. And then so you can see in here is, if you scroll down to the bottom, Robert, there's also the class photo. And so everybody that's in this photo has been tagged with the same info. So that class photo is going to show up for everybody that is in the photo. Which
How'd
again,
you guys get my class
easy.
photo? How'd you guys get my class photo? This is pretty sweet.
You're rocking it, Robert.
Okay.
So the other thing to think about is when you are photographing, especially in this contactless era, is you're going to run into, how are we going to do class photos? We just showed you one in this example. It's probably going to be tough. So one of the things you might want to think about is photographing everybody on a background. Whether you choose a green screen background, I've seen some beautiful backgrounds that are white, that are lit in the back. So it just creates a beautiful image, and have them extracted. And what we have is what we call a green screen, I'm going to quote unquote, green screen feature. But basically what it allows you to do is upload all those extracted photos into Zenfolio. And now you have an infinite number of backgrounds that you want to be able to use. So Robert's going to choose one of these guys. These actually are both of my kids. He's going to do change background. And then you have the ability to charge for various backgrounds, have free backgrounds. And so as he clicks on each background in real time, you're going to see that the background is going to change. Now, knowing that this is going to be a very contactless time, we just launched this particular green screen feature on mobile as well. So that is brand new for us. So now a parent on a mobile device can swap through the backgrounds, looking at their kids, and place the order of the image on the various backgrounds. And what you'll probably end up seeing is, even though you have the same pose, now that you have different backgrounds, you may start to see parents order more products, because it really changes up the look and feel of the image. The other thing to think about this with, now that you've extracted all of these kids, is you can put them all together into a class photo. It's going to be virtual, right? But now you can create a virtual class photo and make that available for them as well. So it gives you some endless flexibility. So that's something to really think about. There's a lot of companies out there that do extractions and that can put groups together if you don't have the Photoshop skills to do it on your own. But we just want to showcase a couple of features that are already built into Zenfolio that make it really easy and flexible for you to remain socially distant, allow your class to be socially distant, but still create the same kind of products and images with the same kind of quality that you had in the past.
And one thing that's I really love about the green screen feature is that you, like you said, you can purchase the same image with multiple backgrounds. And so one thing to think about with school and sports specifically is you already have a lot of the parent data as far as emails and all of that stuff. So when holidays and special occasion roll around, that's a really good and easy way to get in there and maybe add some holiday backgrounds for maybe a Christmas card or something like that, and then re-email people, come in and remonetize on that job that you just have sitting there from last year that maybe you felt like is kind of over. But since you have it here on Zenfolio, it's not going anywhere and you can come back in and remonetize on it as well.
Exactly. Exactly. And then obviously for, once you've uploaded everything, you've photographed and uploaded everything. And if you decide to do a pre-order, or if you just do on spec, meaning that they're going to order once they see the images, once they place the order goes to our lab partner. You set that up based on your price list, and then the images go to the lab, they get printed, and they get shipped directly to the parents. And so that way, you don't have to worry about collecting everything, figuring out how to hand it off to somewhere. So again, we're looking at ways to help you reduce the number of touches, on materials. And so this will allow you to have all of the orders shipped directly to the parents. Makes it super easy on you, and it makes them feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, also, and that's a big relief to staff too, as well, for school and like league staff. I know sometimes they want everything to come to them so they can distribute, but obviously times like now they can't really do that. But I have seen a lot of staff that I had to work with. They were like, I wish you guys could just ship this directly to people instead of bringing it here and having us have to take care of it, because they felt like we were passing the responsibility onto them. So being able to do that drop ship
Absolutely.
directly is amazing.
Yep.
Love it, love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is, we're really talking about, schools and youth sports. These are a couple of alternatives to how you can have a really contactless workflow. Think about your workflow, think about how you can incorporate these, create a game plan, and a way that you can start to communicate this to your admins. Again, we want you to be able to have photo day this fall. And we want it for you as photographers, as business people, but we also want it for the parents and the kids to, they're already missing out on a lot as it is. It's rough. We want to make sure that we're creating, those memories for them. So the other thing I think we should talk about, Robert, are seniors. And so
Yes.
seniors are still a huge part of kind of the school photography. And with seniors, it's a little different, right? Because with seniors, typically, you're not going to the school to take pictures. Instead, they're coming to you. And so we have a fairly new feature that's called BookMe. And you can see it at the bottom right there. And we've been updating this guy constantly. And so one thing we just launched is when we first launched it, it was going to be on your Zenfolio website. But now we've given you the flexibility to put it on any kind of website that you have. And so in Robert's example there, we put it only on the senior page for Zenfolio. And so this is a great way to allow your seniors and parents to book a session with you. So basically to come in, quote unquote, to the studio, or however you're going to do that. Maybe you have an outside location. And if a yearbook photo is required, if the school's still going to do a yearbook, which I would, push for them to do, then there's a way for them to book a session to not have to pay you, but they're coming in, and then you can upsell them on various other packages in studio. Or if they're looking to get a package anyway, or if you don't do free, then it allows them to not just book you for a date and time slot that you have selected, but also to pay you for that particular package. And so this works just phenomenally well for your seniors.
Yeah, this is amazing. This takes care of all of that back and forth phone calling for booking, the back and forth
Yes.
email. Like that was one of the biggest things that I hated when I was doing photography, was all of the back and forth content. Like, hey, are you available on this date? Hey, are you available? No, I'm not. Phone tag, email, all of that stuff. This, it eliminates all that. So it's super, super handy. Really, really important.
Yep, exactly. And so again, we're talking about what is the easiest way for you to communicate with the parents, and allow them to book you, without any kind of high touch or paper passing hands. And this is a great solution. And those of you that are photographing other things besides seniors, this is an example, obviously for seniors, but also for preschools. A lot of preschools, they will do sessions in a similar way, so you can do it that way. And then for your portrait sessions or engagement sessions or anything where you have a time slot, BookMe can allow you to break it up so that you have multiple different kinds of sessions that they can book. And it is a super easy and flexible tool for you. And it's very intuitive for your clients. And it is mobile friendly, like everything else that we're coming out with now. And so we make it really easy for them to be able to understand how to book you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have some questions rolling in, Kurt. Do you want to tackle questions now? Do you want to take a quick water break, come back and grab some questions?
Yeah,
Did
we
you
can
get?
jump in.
Okay, cool. Let me go ahead and just kind of bring my question up here. So let me shout out some of you guys. I was so excited that Kurt was hanging out with me today. Like I didn't even shout anybody out. So let me kind of let me shout some people out really quick. Let's see. Amy is hanging out with us today. I think you and Amy know each other. Let's see. Amy, I'm going to say her last name wrong. So Amy, please make fun of me. You know, I deserve it. Amy Maris, am I saying it right? We've got Lynn joining us, Ricky Zen and Living Focus. He said, is there a link to explain the QR code? We'll talk about that in a second, Ricky. James, Annette Meyer. I saw somebody, Brittany said, I've used BookMe a few times already. It's so insanely easy. It's time consuming to enter in keywords, but it's also great to see the money rolling in without having all of the conversations. Absolutely. Annette Myers Photography and Sharks 408 is hanging out with us as well. Let's go ahead and grab some of your questions. Let's see. 410 Aerial Photography and Inspection. Hey, thanks for coming back and hanging out with us again. Said, how would this workflow apply to realtor clients? You want that one or you want me to take it?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways. So if you don't know about Photo Booker as well, so Photo Booker is a way for people to find you and book you, whereas BookMe is a way for existing clients to book you. Those are both fantastic entry points into somebody being able to discover you, what you do, find a date and time that works great for you, and then book a session and pay you. So again, that's all contactless. From there, I would say from that point, everything else is probably business as normal. You would upload your images into a Zenfolio gallery, and then depending on how you handle that, if you set it up so that they've paid you ahead of time through PhotoBooker or BookMe, then you could just have a digital delivery of those images right through the Zenfolio gallery. You just send them off a link, and they can download those. You can also do it. We have some photographers that still they charge for their images, but they send a coupon code that's worth X dollars. And so let's say they paid you $500 for the shoot or whatever it is, and that includes downloads of images. Then you can just put a coupon code for however many images that is, and then send it off to them. So super flexible.
Yeah, absolutely. And we recently did an interview with real estate photographer Mary Powell. So it was a couple of weeks back, but we talk about using BookMe for her workflow for booking clients. And we also talk about digital download image delivery. And then before her interview, we did a live stream all about digital download delivery for real estate photographers. So I would definitely go back and check those two live streams out. I think they're included in the contactless workflow playlist. If they're not currently there, when this live stream is over, I'll make sure to get those added in, because these features are totally like very, very versatile. Like we're talking about school and sports right now, but this workflow can be applied to pretty much any type of photography you do. Obviously, we can't give you a robot to go do the shoot as much as I'm sure we wish we could, but a lot of this stuff you can take and apply to any type of workflow that you're doing. Ricky Zen says, is there a link to explain the QR code? I don't think there's a link directly to that, but I did talk about it on a live stream a while back. That one is in the description below as well. It talks about pre-order. I can't remember which one it is, but basically all you really need to do, and I can show this really quick because this only takes like 2 seconds. So let me kind of show you what I mean by
And while he's showing you this, the other thing to know is any of this stuff, I have to say that the customer support department at Zenfolio is unbelievably amazing. They're working photographers. They know our products really well. They know how to kind of tweak and adapt some things. So if we can't answer the question here or in some of the links, they will definitely be able to assist you. So reach out to them.
100%, hands down, like some of the most amazing humans on the planet I've ever had the privilege of working with. So really quick, Ricky, all you need to do is get the direct link to your pre-order, copy that, do a quick Google search. There's tons of companies that will do this for you. Free QR code generator. I'm taking the first one. You're literally just going to paste in your link right here, and they're going to generate a QR code image right over here. Now they have free versions. If you want to pay and make your QR code really cool, you can, but you just download that, put that image on a flyer, get it printed up, have it saved on your phone. And then you guys can try it right now. If you have iPhones, scan that image. It's going to take you to that pre-order that we were just at. And so that's what I mean by setting up that pre-order link with a QR code. Super easy to do. It took me like all of 2 seconds. Great question though. Great question. James Omar Hansen says, I'm looking to sell prints, limited editions, and merchandise of wildlife and landscape photography. Is Zenfolio a good fit for that? So I'm going to say Zenfolio is a good fit for just about any type of photography you're looking to do. Specifically, if you're looking to sell things that you're going to maybe sign and maybe have a little bit of hands-on of the creation process and the production process of that, we have a very specific workflow for that that works great. It's called Self-Fulfilled Products. There's several live streams on it. Just go to our YouTube channel, look for Self-Fulfilled Products. I'm sure Richard can definitely throw that link in the chat for you, but absolutely you can use us for that. You can also use our integrated vendors. It really depends on exactly the outflow that you're looking for. If it's something really like hands-on, then you're going to want to go the Self-Fulfilled Product route.
Yeah, I mean, a great example is the personal photographer for Richard Petty. He uses Zenfolio. Mm-hmm. And so right after Richard Petty passed away, he did a limited edition of some just gorgeous images that he shot. And so he had it set up to where everything was shipped to him from the integrated lab. And then so he would open it up and sign it and number it and then send it off. So just like Robert said, there's a lot of different ways you can skin that cat. And the other piece is, if you don't know about it already, Zenfolio has some just very, very powerful SEO tools. And so again, we have a lot of literature as well as the customer support can help you. But if you're uploading limited edition images, you definitely want to be tagging those so that they are very easily found through search.
Absolutely. Okay, one more question. I think we're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back and keep answering your guys' questions. So this one is from Sharks408. He says, is it possible to send bulk email invites to the school or league with a roster or CSV file?
Sorry, before you do that, I'm laughing because I'm getting things. Tom Petty, not Richard Petty. And I'm not even like a race car guy. That is hilarious. I apologize. Yes, Tom Petty, because I believe Richard Petty is still alive.
I was going to call you out, but I was like, I don't know. I better not call
No, you're good.
Let's let it slide.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Do you want that one or you want me to take it?
sorry, I was so preoccupied with the wrong person I was saying. Say the question one more time.
No, it's cool. So Sharks48, is it possible to send bulk email invites to the school or league with a roster or a CSV file?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. So typically in the past, schools and leagues have been very nervous about giving you the bulk roster ahead of time. So it does make things really hard. If they give it to you ahead of time, oh my gosh, that is golden. And I imagine that's going to be happening a lot more, especially this fall. So you can upload all those contacts into Zenfolio and send a bulk email out. Super easy. And so in there, you can have various communications with everybody. You can have the links to the galleries, link to prepay. It does make life a lot easier if you can get those.
Yes, 100%. There are several videos on that. I have done not just live streams on that, but I've also created actually step-by-step videos that really break that process down. So definitely go back and check them out. They're all in that contactless workflow, but that feature, being able to do that bulk email, like hands down, is phenomenal. And that's a thing too that you can use and talk to the schools and leagues about is, when they're concerned about parent communication and all of that stuff, you can say, hey, look, if you have that information, I can handle that for you. The last thing that you want is them having questions to ask the school, then the school has to come and ask you, and then you kind of have to do this whole back and forth. So if you can get that information from the school or from the sports league, then you can take a lot of work off of their shoulders, and you should kind of present it that way as well.
Completely. Yep.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to bring Richard up. He's going to talk to you guys for a second, and then Kurt and I will be right back. So if you guys have questions, we've still got like 20 minutes. We can answer a lot of questions in 20 minutes, so keep throwing those in the chat. If not, we're just going to keep misquoting music and rock stars and something like that. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, happy Thursday. My name is Richard with the customer success team at Zenfolio. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. More importantly, I appreciate Kurt hopping on and hanging out with us. He is an awesome guy, if that's not obvious already. So of course, in the time of COVID, we definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing those workflow tips and tricks for us. And also too, my favorite thing about Kurt is that he is actually, he builds lightsabers, which is awesome. I've seen a couple of pictures. They're pretty impressive. But if we have any Star Wars fans out there, it's pretty cool. But hey, of course, if you haven't asked any questions already, or if you have more questions and you've already asked some, please feel free to drop them within the chat. I will be sending those over to Kurt and Robert as we go. If you are watching the recorded version of this too, you can always ask questions as well. Feel free to click the link below entitled email questions for next week, and we will be happy to address them the following week here. But I'll go ahead and give it back to Robert so we can answer some more of those questions for you.
All right. Thank you, Richard. Sorry about that, you guys. I'm still trying to figure out this whole Zoom flow. It's a little weird. But yeah, go ahead and add some more questions if you guys have questions. Kurt, I should have told you that we were going to like throw it out there that you did lightsabers. Maybe you could have brought one to show us.
You know, I was trying to keep my nerdiness on the down low, but it's out there now, so it's all good. I own it.
That's so funny. That's so funny. All right, well, let's grab some more questions really quick. We got about 15 minutes left. So let's see. This question, this is interesting. When it comes to watermarks, I'm always interested to get other people's perspectives. I understand the purpose of it. I understand like both sides of the argument, and I think we kind of all do. But just curious. So this person asked, "Is it best to watermark my images when I'm starting out?" What's your take on watermarks?
I think it's really important for a couple of reasons. One is it reduces the risk of having somebody take a screenshot and just grabbing your image and doing whatever they want with it. Unfortunately, the way browsers work, we have only so much control over that. But the other nice thing about it is it perpetuates your brand, and especially when you're first trying to get started, it's all about the brand. It's all about getting your name out. And so one thing that I would definitely recommend is anytime that you provide a social media file to your clients, whether they pay for it or you've given it away, although I recommend you always have them pay for it, have your watermark, your logo on there, because if it's going to be on somebody's Facebook or Instagram account, and by having your watermark logo on there, and again, tip for logos, always have your web address at the bottom of the logo, especially as you're starting out, so people know where to find you online. So anyway, that's my thought on that.
Love it. Love it. I always recommend, I always say, if you have a custom watermark, there's like a giant jet flying over. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's super loud. But if you have a custom watermark, just like Kurt said, take the time to add your web address on there, because unfortunately, it's impossible to stop people from screenshotting it. So when they do, and they share it on social media, at least you're getting advertisement out of it as well. They're kind of basically advertising for you. So Kurt, you got a couple people saying, do you sell your lightsabers?
Wow.
They're asking for links to purchase.
All right, I got to find my link. I just finished one that I need to sell. So I will find a way to put that. Once I put it up online, I have an Etsy. I've sold, this will be the second one I've sold. Then yeah, I'll figure out a way to make that available.
Yeah, maybe you can get it over to me and I'll put it in the description of this video just for the people who are hanging out with us.
Yep.
There we go.
Oh man.
Sweet.
Oh, this is getting real.
Yeah, it is. All right. Is it possible to have a license with digital downloads that I want to sell? Absolutely. Absolutely. You want that one? Because I know you've got some deep thoughts on licenses too.
Licenses are huge. And yeah, so one of the things that I love about our digital download is it is really, really powerful. It allows you to create multiple different sizes of download images. You could title them. So for small ones, I would title it as social media or Facebook, Instagram, whatever. It's really clear what it is. But when you create a digital download file, it gives you the ability to have a license there. So whether it is just a use license or however, this works great for stock as well. We aren't a stock house, but if you are looking to have some images that you photographed, you're already using Zenfolio, you want to have some stock options, we do have a stock license in there as well. We've had some legal to look through it. So go in there and alter it however you need. But that way it protects you, and it is really good communication. Because I think between photographers and clients, one of the ways that things go bad with that relationship is there just is miscommunication. It's not anybody's fault. And so the more that you can have clear guidelines about what people can use particular images for, the better off you are, the more clear it is, and everybody feels comfortable moving forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there are lots of videos on this as well that show you how to do those custom licenses. The other thing that I use my licenses for is I upload my print releases. So I have custom print releases that I upload. So that way, when I'm doing portrait sessions, rather than taking that extra step of having to send the client the print release, that license that you've applied to that digital product is actually emailed to the client with their images. So it kind of automates delivering that print release. If you've ever had the issue come up where maybe you sold the client some digital downloads. They took it to a lab. This happened to me a lot when I first got started because I didn't really understand licensing and labs and all that. But I had some clients take some photos to a lab. They went to print it out. The lab was like, hey, there's a copyright in the image. Do you have a license from the photographer? And so then they called me and I had to send them a license or a print release, email it to them really quickly. And it was kind of embarrassing for them and for me. So something you can do with that as well. Super powerful. Tammy Gentry says, quick question. How can I eliminate spam in my guest book? Oh, right. So the guest book feature does have an option to where you can set all public or any kind of comments that get added to the guest book. You can set it to where it has to be moderated first, basically requiring you to review it, and then you can either allow it to be published or you can delete it. My personal suggestion would be, think about the purpose of that guest book. I might suggest turning it off. Unfortunately, these days, any place that people can find where they can publicly just write stuff, you're going to get hit by spam bots. So if you're using the guest book for like client testimonials, maybe you want to have your clients email you those testimonials, or maybe you want to create a contact form that requests for that, and then use a custom page to actually show those testimonials. You can head over to whitegoldphotography.com. That's a Zenfolio demo site. And there's actually, if you look in the custom page tab, there's actually a custom testimonials page that you can grab the code and make your own and kind of mimic that, but customize it as well. So that's personally what I would do. Turn that guest book off. Great question though, Tammy. Let's see, we got, how much time we have? We have about 8 minutes left. Let's see if we can get a couple more questions in. Let's see. Is it possible to sell an ebook through the site that is automatically sent to the customer? What do you think? Possible, yes.
Yeah, there's a couple ways to skin that cat. I would say one is if you have a digital package that is a specific number of images, right? And then each page of the ebook is an image or a file. And obviously the package has the same number of images that the book does. That is one way you can do it. The other way is you just create a self-fulfilled product that would create a little bit more work on your side. But those are two ways I can think of. Anything else you can think of, Robert?
You said the attach the raw file, right? Did you say that one? Attach in the raw file, upload it as a raw file?
You could do that.
Yeah,
yes.
So you could definitely,
yeah.
So you want to be careful with that because you do not have free unlimited raw file storage. So you do want to be careful with that, but you can upload I don't know what the ebook file would be. I'm assuming it would be PDF. You can upload that as a raw file and then attach it to a JPEG image. And then you can actually sell an image and its attached raw file. I don't know if I have a video on that. I haven't had too many people ask about that. Definitely talk about it a lot in the digital products training. So that's one way that you could do it. Let's see. One more question. Alicia, is it Alicia Padilla? Is that who I just saw? How do you add a license on the digitals to avoid those embarrassing moments? There is absolutely a training. So if you go to our YouTube channel, you can just type in digital downloads. I've done several live streams where I really go through that in really great detail and show you how to set it up. But if you would like to do an in-person training, well, not an in-person, but a virtual training, we do have trainings set up that we do talk about that. So that's going to be covered in the Basic Selling 101 group training session. And you can sign up for that. In the description below, there's a link that says Selling Basic Group Training. You can click on that and actually sign up and join that group session. And we cover digital products like in great detail, talk about custom licenses. I show you how to attach it, all of that good stuff. So that's a really good one to join if you're interested in that. Let's see. Let me grab another question. Let's see. How do I change the shoot type in BookMe? The pencil icon only lets me change the name of the subcategory. That's a great question. I can actually share my screen. How much time do we have? I think we have enough time for this one. Let's see, let me share my screen really quick. If you go into BookMe right here, you can change the shoot type. So after you've created a service, the shoot type right here, this is the shoot type. You can go in here and change it to whatever you want. So when you're creating the service at first, you do have to choose from one of the predetermined shoot types. But after you've saved it, and then you come back to this screen, you can go to that shoot type and click the little pencil icon and change it to say whatever it is that you want it to be. Well, maybe this is senior portraits or outdoor portraits or studio portraits. So that option is there. You just have to come to this section right here and do it. Great question though. Great question. All right, we got about 5 more minutes. Kurt, any final thoughts? Anything you want to leave photographers watching who maybe haven't taken that step yet into taking their business online fully or just going contactless?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. One thing that we've started to notice here at Zenfolio is a lot of our photographers that are shooting portraits or weddings or whatnot are starting to get into school and sports, especially sports photography, youth sports. And it's fun. It's an area that needs some creativity. So I would say give it a shot. It can work. It can do wonders to your business. You can make a decent amount of money from it. It's super fun to be around those kids. And there's a lot of new kind of backgrounds that are super cool. There's some photographers making the kids look like they're on an Adidas or Nike ad. And just to see like the reaction of the kids where they, look like they're heroes is super, super fun. So, I would say if you haven't tried, jump into that. And then the other piece of advice that I would say is just try something. I know that when I first got started with photography, I was really nervous about selling things. Initially, it was all digital download. I was just intimidated about the process of creating a price list, of deciding, okay, if I add a price to a print or a product, are people going to hate me, or are they going to think, I'm charging them too much? And so it took me a little while to actually, take that next step. And then once I did it, I just thought, God, I don't know what I was so nervous about. And then, I had a whole new income stream that started to come in. Same with albums. Albums was super intimidating for me. Zenfolio does have an album process that you're welcome to use. But the thing I would say is how you think clients perceive you and how they really do perceive you are two different things. Clients love you. They want to pay you for the great quality images that you're providing. And a lot of them see products and pricing through the lens of their experience with you. And so if they have a great shoot with you, which, I've been around photographers a long time. Photographers are some of my most favorite people in the world. So much fun, so lively. And so based on that experience, they're looking at your prices like, gosh, we had such a great time. The images look great. Of course, I'm willing to pay, more than was in my mind for these prints or products because I want to have this on my wall. So if you're not currently offering any kind of physical product, now's definitely the time to do it. More and more people are realizing that images, especially from the past, are invaluable. They're getting more connected with family, whether it's extended or not. And so, definitely take the leap and take advantage of that.
Love that. Love that. So I love that you talked about the printed photograph, because that's one thing I try to talk about a lot, is that you can't put a price on the value of a printed photograph. I have photos from the early 1900s, but I don't have anything in my house that will play a CD or a DVD anymore. But I can go grab that photo that I have of my grandmother, and that to me is priceless. And that's the one thing that we as photographers need to remember: the value of the printed photo. It's that one piece of history that will just stay with us.
100%. And this is probably the last thing, and I'll piggyback off of that. The other thing is as a photographer, I always viewed my job as not only to photograph, but also to educate my clients. And if I did it in the right way, especially around physical product, they really listened and understood that, hey, don't just buy this image in, a small wall or 4x6. This kind of image needs to be, 16 by 20 or whatever. Here's the reason behind it. And then these kind of images you want to have around because grandparents still love, my mom, every year for Christmas, I give her photographs of my kids for their sports in their school. So, there's still people that love those physical products. And so make sure you're educating your clients about the importance of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the last thing I want to say is if you haven't done any of this stuff yet, don't wait till it's time to do it to figure out how to do it. Please start now. Do a test run. Customer support will be there for you, whether you wait until it's go time or not, but it's going to be much less stressful on you if you do it now and you start learning how to do it now and you start practicing it now. Don't wait. Go ahead and try it out now. Do a test run. Kurt, thank you so much.
And while it's slow, I would say the last thing is while it's slow, this is the best time. This is the best time to be working on your business and introducing new things.
Yes, absolutely. This is the best time. Don't wait. Kurt, thank you so much for hanging out with me for the past hour.
So much fun. Thanks, Robert.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Hope you guys have a great week. Don't forget, next week is the 200th episode of Zenfolio Live. Special guest Laura Greer. It's going to be a fun live stream, one that you will not want to miss. Until next week, don't forget too, Site Review Tuesdays, every single Tuesday, same time. So make sure you come back for that. If you've never had your site reviewed, you can go there, submit your site to be reviewed. But hey, until next week, I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend. Do something positive for somebody, make somebody smile, do some self-work, and let's all work together to make this world a better place because it really, really needs it right now. You guys have a good one. I'll see you guys again next week. Bye, Kurt.
Thanks for hanging out. Yep. Bye.